Hello, I'm Dina London, and this is Exporting to Excel training. We're going to be looking at the different ways in JManage to export to Excel. If we go to Search, Advanced Search, or Finances, find Contributions, find Pledges, or Memberships, find Memberships, they all export to Excel in the same way. So we're going to look at Advanced Search as an example. Here in Advanced Search, let's say we bring up a group of people. And then we say we're going to export those 5 records. And we go to Export Contacts. We're going to get this screen. And this screen asks us, do we want to export primary fields? And that means the export would go to Excel with every field in that person's contact record. Most of the time we don't want that. We want to export very specific fields. So we select Fields for Export. Then we're able to save a field mapping. So once we make a mapping, we are able to then save it so that we can use that mapping again and we don't have to set it up the next time. We'll set ours up this time. So we're just going to click Continue. Now here, it's asking us what fields in these people's contact records do we want to export. And so you have choices of individual, household, different fields. We're just going to check individual. And for the most part, right, we're going to be picking somebody's first name, last name, email address, things like that. So let's say first name. We'll find last name in the list. Maybe we want their birth date. Maybe we want their email address. And maybe we want, let's see, the city they live in. Okay, so we're going to export these particular fields. And here's where it says save this field mapping. And we can save the field mapping as a particular name so that we can use it at a later time. Then I'll click Export. So then it will export to Excel. And there's my export to Excel with my first name, my last name, my birth date if it's in the system, my email, my city. So anytime you can select fields for export, that's how it's going to show up. And you can pick all of your fields and again, save your field mapping. Now, the custom searches in JManage export directly to Excel. They don't allow you to pick your fields. So for instance, if I go to Life Cycles, Upcoming Birthdays, this particular search, I can pick, I'm not going to pick any criteria, but you can pick your criteria, you click search, and then you get your search results. In this search, when I click on the records and then I go to export contacts like I did in the advanced search, I'm not going to get that same screen. It's going to automatically go to my Excel. And I'll get the results of the exact columns that are in the search will show up in Excel. So that is how the custom searches work. You don't have as much control over them. Only the fields that show up in the search will show up in your export. Custom searches are ones like the ones under life cycles, upcoming birthdays, anniversaries, yard site search for letters. There's some under finances, like financial aging and contact financial summary. And then there's some under search, custom searches. And so all of those will export in the way that I just demonstrated. Finally, under reports, you're also able to create reports which then can be exported to Excel. So for instance, let's just go to one of the reports. I'm going to go to contribution reports detail. And here I'm able to choose the columns that I want. And of course, those columns are the ones that are going to show up in my export. The difference between the search and the report is that I'm given an option of quite a few columns, and then I can choose from those columns which ones that I want to show up in my search. So I'm going to pick a few columns here. I'm going to come down here and say refresh results. And as you can see, the columns that are showing here are the ones that I picked up here at the top under columns. And once I click on the actions drop down, I can say export as CSV. And then it will export straight to Excel. And all of the columns that were in my report results that I had chosen originally as my columns will show up as exported in Excel. And so all of the reports work the same way, where you choose your columns and those columns show up in your results, and those are the columns that show up in your export to Excel. So to recap, there are 3 ways to export depending upon which search or report you're using. The inbuilt searches will go to a screen that shows you an option of primary fields or selecting fields for export. The custom searches will directly export as is to Excel. And the reports allow you to choose your columns, and then those columns export directly to Excel. If you have further questions about exporting to Excel, just open a support ticket at support@jvillagenetwork.com. You just send an email to that address. Or you can sign up for our weekly open office hours. Thanks so much for joining us today.